Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Respected viewers, we are still discussing the aspect with regard to the times of Salah. So previously we spoke about the times of the five daily Salah, and we also included in there the time when the Witr Salah should be performed. In the last video, we spoke about those times where it is not permissible for a person to perform salah, those times in which it is not permissible for a person to perform salah. And if a person does perform maybe a qada salah or performs a sajda tilawa or performed a janaza salah or attended a janaza salah, those will be accepted but obviously really disliked and reprehensible. Then we also spoke about those occasions in which nafil salah, optional salah, and this is also inclusive of the sunan salah, the sunnah salah. So those times where the nawafil, the optional, and the sunnah salah should not be performed, because if performed, then it is disliked and reprehensible. And we want to stay away. When we say disliked and reprehensible, it's not like, oh, okay, just disliked and reprehensible. It's actually the scholars are telling us that we should stay away from it. That's what it actually means. But it also has the meaning that if a person did it, it's still a valid action. It's not an invalid action. But obviously, we learn it so we can do the most correct thing and what is best practice. So, continuing from our last discussion, we were discussing those times where a person should avoid performing optional salah, and otherwise, what would happen is that it would be disliked. So, looking at the next points, scholars explain that qabla salatil Eid, that before the Eid salah, a person should not perform any optional salah. It will be disliked. فلا يصلى النفل قبل صلاة العيد لا في منزله ولا في المصلى. Person on the day of Eid, a person, there's no sunnah salahs for the Eid salah. The Eid Salah is the congregational Salah that's performed with the Imam on the day of Eid, and after that, the Imam delivers the two khutbahs. But before the Eid Salah, there's no Sunnah Salah that you're going to perform at home. There's no Sunnah Salah you're going to perform at what we call the Eidgah, or the place where the Eid Salah is going to be performed. There's no Sunnah Salahs on the day of Eid. If a person did perform even an optional Salah, rather, then it will be disliked. The next one is بعد صلاة العيد في المصلى خاصة, that after the Eid Salah, a person feels now, okay, the khutbahs are completed, everyone's greeting each other. In the meanwhile, while I'm waiting for people to pack up, let me read two rakats of nafil salah, optional salah. The scholars explain that if a person is doing so at the same place where the Eid Salah was performed, it will be disliked, because it sort of gives that impression that, after the Eid Salah and the two khutbahs, it sort of gives an impression like there's additional salahs to read. For the onlooker, somebody may think that way, but in actual fact, there's no salahs legislated after the Eid Salah. Right? There's no basis for any salahs in particular being performed at the place where the congregational Eid Salah was performed after the Eid Salah and after the khutbahs. If a person after the Eid Salah went home, not at the place where the congregational Eid Salah was performed, but went home, and at home the person engaged in Nafil Salah, then that would be fine. But not to do it at the place where the Eid Salah was performed, like I just explained to you, it gives the impression like there is something as Salah that needs to be performed, and later on you'll find being a widespread practice where people will now take on to this, and that's how things become an innovation, unfortunately. The next point is إذا كان الوقت ضيقا بحيث يخاف أنه لو اشتغل بالنفل فاته الفرض, that it becomes reprehensible for a person to perform an optional salah if there's very little time left. And if he's going to engage in the optional salah, he's not going to have sufficient time to fulfill the actual fard salah, the compulsory salah. So a person who is engaging in optional salah but compromising what actually needs to be done. Right, so the optional salah is optional. You can leave that out. You won't be sinful. And especially if, let's say, it's towards the end of a salah time frame. Dhuhr salah is coming to an end. The time frame for dhuhr salah is coming to an end. There's maybe 5 minutes left. And in that 5 minutes, if you're going to perform optional salah and then try and read your 4 rakats further of dhuhr salah, you're not going to make it. The 4 rakats of dhuhr salah will be compromised, the compulsory one. So in that case, it's makruh for you to engage in An optional salah, you got to protect what is necessary first. The optional salah, you can read it thereafter in the next salah time frame. The next one would be عند حضور الطعام إذا كان جائعا وفي نفسي توق شديد إلى الطعام. The food comes, people are waiting for Maghrib Salah and the supper already comes on the table and the person's been starving the entire day and the person's really desiring to eat something. In that case, don't perform Nafil Salah. Eat first, because that entire Salah of yours, you're just going to be thinking about food. There's no concentration. And what is it of that Salah then? So rather, even like for example in the month of Ramadan, after a person performs the Maghrib Salah in congregation, the man, and after that the two Sunnahs of Maghrib, now a person is extremely hungry because they haven't eaten the entire day, they were fasting, and now a person says, you know what, let me just go on with the hunger, but I'm really, really hungry and I know I'm desiring the food and I'm thinking of what's going to be at home. Now a person should engage in extra optional Salah. Yes, if a person is not so hungry because they ate, when the adhan was called out and everyone broke their fast and the person ate, he's not so hungry, or even if he is hungry, but he's not really desirous of the food and this is not all he's going to be thinking about, then it's okay for him to perform nafil salah. But if that's food and it's going to distract him, then it will be reprehensible for a person to perform that nafil salah. The next one is عند مدافعة البول أو الغائط أو الريح. If a person has the urge to use the washroom or to use the toilet rather, person needs to pass urine, stool or wind, but they're holding it in, they're keeping it in, and they're performing salah. That salah becomes makruh. It's reprehensible for a person to engage in an optional salah in that particular state. Rather go to the toilet, but you know that okay, you've relieved yourself, and now, even if you feel now you don't want to perform your nafil salah, that's also fine. It's an optional salah. But if you have the strength, which is the better thing to do, then renew your wudu and perform the salah. But don't perform salah, especially the nafil salah. You don't engage your optional salah when you have an urge to go to the toilet. Rather, go to the toilet. Why? Because you'll be harming yourself, by holding things in. And Islam does not advocate for people harming themselves. The next one will be عند حضور شيء يشغل باله ويخل بالخشوع. Not only urine, stool, or not only the urge and desire to eat, but anything that's going to distract a person, and if he doesn't engage in it, his mind is going to be on it all the time. So instead of performing nafil salah and your mind is on something, rather go and do whatever it is, clear your mind up, and then come back and perform nafil salah. If you perform nafil salah in that state where your mind is just all the time thinking of everything else, then it's makruh for you to do that. Right? Go and sort out whatever you need to and come back and perform the nafil salah, then it won't be reprehensible. And the last two, بين صلاة الظهر والعصر في عرفة للحاج خاصة and بين صلاة المغرب والعشاء في مزدلفة للحاج خاصة, that those who are going to be performing Hajj, then on the day of Arafah, the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, between the Dhuhr and Asr Salah, where the two Salahs will be combined in one time frame. Inshallah, if we get the chance to explain the details of that later on, we'll try and do so. But on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, for those performing Hajj on the plains of Arafat, between the Dhuhr and Asr Salah, it is reprehensible and disliked to offer any optional salah. And likewise, that night after leaving Arafat, going towards Muzdalifah, and the Maghrib and Isha salah will be combined in one time frame in Muzdalifah. Then between the Maghrib and Isha salah, it is reprehensible and disliked for a person to offer any optional salah. Inshallah, in our next video, we will be speaking about the laws pertaining to the adhan and the iqama. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us, and we hope that you are finding this beneficial. Jazakallah khairah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.